is clear. But you have to understand that Masonic ritual grew out of real Masons, Masons who laid brick, Masons who were the architects of their age. That's the whole purpose of ritual, to keep us connected to the past and to keep us connected to our beliefs.
Secrets and symbols of death. Scary or just misunderstood? In the book, Brown's villain drinks wine from a skull. Do Masons ever do that?
Candidates drink from a skull. Let's say it happens, okay? My response, so what? The ceremony described in the lost symbol was actually done by a renegade Scottish Rite organization back in the 19th century. That is the Cerno ritual. There happens to be a published expose of that ritual that's been around for the better part of 2 centuries now, and that's what Dan Brown is leaning on. That's not the ritual that's really used in the Scottish Rite today in the southern jurisdiction.
The only scary thing about ritual is when it's taken out of context. Oh, that my throat had been cut across, and if I ever break this oath, I'm going to cut open and lay open my heart. And it was just drama.
In the book, a student refers to the wild rumors surrounding the Masons. That is most definitely true.
These people must have power, they must have influence, and the only reason we can't see their influence in what they're doing is because they're so good at keeping it secret.
They're accused of being reptilian aliens. They're accused of more things, I think, than any other group. And I think part of the problem is because the ritual is kept secret. Part of the problem is that up until recently, Freemasons did not respond to this kind of thing. So they made great targets.
In the book, a Mason talks of the importance in keeping their secrets, even under the threat of death. That's true.
In the 21st century, keeping your word is something special, okay? We have entire reality shows where success is built on not keeping your word, on stabbing the other guy in the back, and not keeping your coalitions. But that's not really how you advance a society. That's not how you build civilization. So one of the points of Masonic secrecy is having the person learn to keep his word, even on little things, with the idea that that'll build into keeping your word in the big things.
And as the novel depicts, while the Masons keep a great many secrets, they're hardly a secret society.
Freemasons as a secret society, we're doing a really bad job. We post the times of our meetings on the doors of the buildings that have great big signs saying the Freemasons meet here. You know, a lot of us wear rings, pins, other things that designate us as Freemasons. If we're a secret society, we're doing a lousy job.
As we've learned, the book has taken its share of liberties with Masonic origins and rituals. Its take on the city's celebrated landscape reveals an even darker vision. Washington, D.C., planned according to the stars. Pagan images found in the city streets. The truth behind the fiction will be revealed. Dan Brown's The Lost Symbol is rooted in real Washington, D.C. landmarks and neighborhoods. From the Botanical Garden across from the U.S. Capitol, where a prominent character was taken against his will, to the cramped conveyor belt systems inside the Library of Congress, and the historic mansions of D.C.'s Kellerama Heights, where the villain holds court. Perhaps Brown set his thriller here so he could take advantage of the city's unique cryptic character.
You look at the monument to Washington. It's like Cleopatra's Needle. It's this very much an Egyptian-looking image that appears in the middle of Washington, D.C.
The monument is an obelisk, which is an ancient symbol. It certainly goes back to Egyptian times.
In basic terms, it's a giant phallic symbol, which also, like I said, relates to the sun, the masculine.
The book claims that the Washington Monument has an aluminum capstone engraved with Laus Deo, Latin for praise God. That's true, but no one can see it.
The very top was this special hunk of aluminum. Aluminum was very valuable when at the time they finished the monument in 1886. I think that in this day and age and any other day would probably be gold.
Brown also writes that many of the founding fathers practiced the ancient art of astrology. That's another fact.
Benjamin Franklin was an astrologer. Poor Richard's Almanac, if you get copies of it, you could see his various predictions, whether it's weather or about people and that kind of thing. Thomas Jefferson, in his library, originally had books on astrology.
The story is right. Our founding fathers saw astrology as a connection between the earthly and the celestial. It is also correct when it states that the laying of the cornerstones for each the Washington Monument, White House, and the Capitol building were all timed to occur under the same astrological sign Virgo, even though they were laid in different years. In astrology, it's considered to be an auspicious time to begin new undertakings.
People ask why Virgo would have anything to do with Washington, D.C. It's a constellation. Well, actually, it has to do with the sacred feminine mythology, lore, religion, if you will. It could be described as somewhat pagan, that goes way back to Isis of the Egyptians, Persian goddesses of femininity, sexuality, birthing.
What the book doesn't mention is that the sign of Virgo also played a role in our U.S. Constitution. This is further evidence that our founding fathers used astrology for major decisions.
Virgo has a great deal of influence in regards to the United States of America. Our Constitution, September 17th, right? You take a look at very important dates, you will find that Virgo was part of it. You line up the stars above with what's on the earth, you're going to have a spiritual harmony, and you're going to be able to accomplish great things.
Under the guidance of Master Masons George Washington and Benjamin Franklin, French surveyor Pierre L'Enfant designed the capital city, just as the book states. In the book, Brown depicts our founding fathers creating Washington as a realization of the Enlightenment, a new Atlantis, where reason, science, and freedom would triumph over ignorance and darkness. This is a fact. Though not mentioned in the book, George Washington in particular believed this capital must be as grand as any in the world.
Washington felt strongly that it needed to be a monumental city. It needed to be a city that people would respect, like European capitals. And even though the United States was a young country and struggling, that he was looking down the road to the future.
Washington designed the city to reflect the glory of Athens and Rome here in this new world.
We're here on the banks of the Potomac River in Alexandria, Virginia, where the cornerstone of the city of Washington was laid in April 1791 by Masons George Washington and others, who came here to designate this as the bottom of what was then a quadrangle that was tipped on its side like this, and this is the southernmost point.
The novel depicts the city's planner, Pierre L'Enfant, as having laid out the streets in a pattern to suggest Masonic symbols. L'Enfant's plan can be seen as a map in Freedom Plaza, a pivotal location in the fictional story. Here in the book, the character Catherine Solomon claims the U.S. dollar bill contains a hidden Star of Solomon, a key Masonic symbol. That's true. Just draw a line connecting the letters M-A-S-O-N and combine that with the pyramid. Ever since L'Enfant laid out the city, people have been searching for symbols of meaning. New interpretations are ongoing and controversial. This is all mentioned in Dan Brown's book. When looking down at the layout, signs seem to appear, such as a pentagram. Some of the alleged symbols, including the six-pointed seal of Solomon, have been identified, and the cross of the Knights Templar,